Hey, this is Steve Mathis from Pulp MX, and you are listening to something called the No Name RC Podcast.
You heard that?
Wow, that's great.
So everybody thinks I want to be like Joe Rogan, right? I want to be like Steve Mathis.
Yeah. Dude, like, that was kind of my first touch to podcast. We was driving through Europe with Joseph. I think I was like, it was 2016 or something. And we was listening to Pulp MX for like 10 hours straight each day because we was just driving. So that was like one of my finest memories of any podcast.
Oh yeah. So it's no joke sweet. It's no joke that we modeled this podcast off of Pulp MX, and JQ actually got that and a couple of other voice notes from some motocross guys. He got a Wygon one, he got Axel Hodges. So people thought I was joking, but I do have this voice note from Steve Mathis talking about the No Name RC podcast. But you know what? We got a lot to talk about. Actually, we got to talk about SilverState because this podcast is all about SilverState. So we're going to just drop that intro, which I know where it is.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC Podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
There we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 234 of the No Name RC Podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great, and to my virtual left, who's probably going to be as arrogant as ever today, is Maximus Mortimus. What's going on, Max? Before we even get started, Marco Baruffolo, the hero we did not expect, but the hero we all deserve.
Yeah, I think everyone was surprised. I mean, either one of the top two who would have won, that would have been a surprise. But I think a lot of people probably normally wouldn't be too happy to see Marco win, especially with his history with Mayfield and so on. But I think this weekend, I don't think many people like upset that he won. I think
no.
It was a very entertaining race, and he definitely deserved it.
Exactly. And shout out to Lil Bump as well. But this podcast is all about SilverState. We watched the coverage. We was not there. So we're basically going off what we saw on the screen. And we're here to talk about the races, mostly Pro Nitro Buggy, Pro Truggy, a little bit of Pro E-Buggy. And of course, we'll shout out to, there was obviously some good races and some winners and some performers and intermediate and sportsmen, 40 plus, etc. But before we do that, I would like to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you for all the support. If you haven't gone over to the YouTube channel and hit that sub notification, like or dislike button, left a comment, please go over there. We're at 3,767 subs. We'd like to get to 4,000. That'd be great before summer. So if you go over there, you haven't, share it, help get us up to get those numbers going, and please help us out. Also, shout out to the NNRC squad around the world. I'm sorry, to the NNRC patrons and YouTube members. You guys will get early release of this podcast. I don't know if we kind of planned this, but we kind of did. He was like, hey, we're going to do a Silver State recap. And with the racing being so good, we definitely have to talk about it. Also, shout out to all of these awesome companies. Without these companies, we can't do this. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sun Pedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Hot Race Tires, Mayako, Beach RC, Tekno RC. Congratulations to them. They won truck and nitro buggy this weekend. Clinic RC, Ignite RC, Ignite Design RC, bringing back gas truck, Racecraft USA, WRCE. Shout out to Dany Paz. He's got 2 weekends off in a row. House of RC. Shout out to our drivers, David Runnerfolk, Jared Tiber, Robert Batty, and Alex Hagberg. I will be seeing Robert and David here soon as I go off to the IBC. As we record this on the Monday, I'll be leaving tomorrow night, which is Tuesday. But being as we just had this humongous race over in Vegas, we had to just absolutely talk about it. Shout out to everybody out there that shows us some love. We appreciate it. If your company, you like what we're doing, hit us up. We have tiers for everybody. All right, Max. I think we should just get right into it. We should get right into this. We had an exciting weekend of racing there at the SilverState. It was, obviously I wasn't there, but I've been to this race twice, so I kind of know how the atmosphere is. So they had, I think they ended up with 1,125 entries. That might have varied, but I think it petered out where they had 415 people, more or less. So not more, not a little bit more than last year, but still a lot of people. I think we had seen the track last week, so we both agreed that I enjoyed the track. It looked good. They went out a little bit more to the left over there where they used to have staging last year, so they put staging to the right, put the track, made it bigger, and I thought that was pretty good. Obviously, this is SilverState. This track is known to get rough. I was told that Westergaard was fixing the track after the session at night, not night. Between rounds.
Yeah. And just to add to that, I think, as you said, SilverState usually is rough, but at least looking from how the cars handled and what the track looked like, I think this was the least rough SilverState we've had here at this venue.
I would say so, and also all the jumps kind of held up this week.
That's because I remember, I don't know if it was 2020 or 2019. No, 2020 they didn't have it, so it must have been 2019 then, when there was the double and people were singling it because the jump phase got so bad. So there was pretty much only small hip jumps and tabletops people could do. All the jump phases got really bad. So this year, I think there was not a single jump that had even a bad jump phase. There was bumps, but jump phases were really good. And I think that is actually one thing why we probably got so good racing too. Not as much randomness in that.
Well, I mean, last year we got some good racing as well. I think the rough track and not getting too rough, the rough track definitely adds to the excitement, right? I mean, we get different. Well, obviously, we got a different winner this weekend. But I
think there's a fine line. When it's really smooth, then it might be boring because it's hard to make up, time. Then when it's quite rough, but not totally blown out, then you can still race, but you can easily make up time by taking risks. I think this was actually just at the sweet spot, at least looking from the
looking from the coverage that was done by Live RC. Thank you to them. It sounded, it looked great. There was different lines. I mean, you can literally see during the A-main where Baruffolo would go on the inside and everybody would go out in the fluff. And there was different lines around this track that everybody took. So you were able to race, you were able to overtake. And I think that made for great racing. We saw some very surprising names in C mains and B mains in the pro class. We saw a new winner that was Marco Baruffolo that, nobody expected to win. I don't think, not saying that he's not capable of it, but, it's Marco and he does Marco things. But I
don't think people were surprised to see him in the top 5 or like up there after qualifiers, because last 2 years at DNC he's like TQ'd rounds and stuff, so he's been up there.
This is
Just
true.
like the thing was that I don't think I wasn't at least expecting him to pull off that clean 45-minute run. Like just
well,
like
we're going to talk about that. 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 Let's finish up on the track, and that they did get through all the qualifiers. But I will say this: that the way this race is set up with Buggy and Truggy on one day, and then different qualifying days, you are able to do that. But it looked like Buggy and Truggy day was very long, and they got the 3 qualifiers in, but I can't remember what time they got out. But I will say this: if this is the race, if there's a race that you're going to go long and you're going to be up all night, it might as well be this, because you aren't far from your room. You can go up there. You can, if you're gambling, you can go out there. You can go get all of your food, all of your drink, everything that you need there. And I mean, you could probably go out on the strip and come back and still have time to run your car and do that. And you can take a nap the next day.
Yeah, I think if you had Psycho Nitroblast in Vegas, like 24-hour everything, and then you're in Vegas, that would be amazing. That just like, yes,
I mean, there's plenty of distractions to keep you awake in Vegas. Yeah. You know what I mean? So this is kind of, it's good to see these guys that they did it. They got through their program pretty good. It looked like the watering was. I didn't hear anybody really complaining about the watering, so they might have. It looks like they got that right.
Oh, I might be wrong. I heard the watering was actually really good and professional, because at least, I was talking to Chris Morale. He was there racing, and he like specifically said the watering was really good.
I know that's been a big thing.
Yeah, I know
at Joey races. So that's good to see them getting that right, especially at a race like this where it's really pivotal with the way that it kind of, that dust needs to be controlled and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was good to see. So I give them all credit. And I got to give Live RC their credit as well, because I think they were working on a skeleton crew, because they had 3 events going on that weekend. So they had like full-scale boats in Texas. They had motocross and supercross as well. And then they had to have people there. And it looked like they had Scotty, Lucas, and a producer down there, I think. So Scotty and Lucas were actually in the Philippines. So Lucas, I believe, went to the Philippines as well. He's the camera guy. So they, excuse me, I could hear like Scotty was tired. Like he should be tired. Like the first day, he's like, yeah, I took a nap, but you could hear like he was over in the Philippines for like 2 weeks, and then that jet lag, and then of course, also I believe, like I said, the cameraman Lucas was there as well. So kudos to those guys, because they came over from a race where they were busy to do that, and that's a long race, man. Like I could imagine that Thursday was an extremely long day, being there filming and whatnot. So thank you for the coverage that they provided. They provided us with entertainment this weekend to watch the awesome racing that we witnessed. So I think we're gonna get into the racing after we pay some bills here. That was our synopsis of the track. Okay, go ahead, Max. Sorry.
Add, especially about the coverage, I think Live RC had some new, overlays and stuff. So that was actually nice. I think, especially in the qualifiers, it said like which car they were following. It was like whose time he was fighting. Stuff like that, I like. It's definitely the right direction. And I think like the whole overlay was kind of the Mid-America Outdoors inspired, like I don't know what the brand is called. What is it? MAV? I don't know.
It's the Mid-Atlantic Outdoors.
Yeah.
MAO.
Yeah, that branding. I think that has sort of made them put more effort into it. And I actually have to say, I at least saw, I like the overlays, and it was much nicer to follow the race in those scenarios that usually have some. There's still work to do, obviously. Always things you can do better, but I just wanted to say that because this was the first time I catch that they had.
No, I think it's the first time they've done it.
Yeah.
So I like that they had the chasing TQ up in the corner, and then they had the time that certain person was on down below, and I think it will get a little bit better as they go on. But sure. It was good to have it. good to have it.
Yeah, I think the thing is like, I think there are as many ideas as there are people, and probably even more. So just like, which one do you take and then put into, into the production, make sure it works, and then try it. So I think it's something that, you need to try out. But I have to say, I like the ones they used this weekend. And
I agree.
One thing also about the track, I have to say this was one of my favorite tracks at SilverState, because I've always been a bit disappointed of the track at SilverState.
I would agree with you.
Because
this was nice.
Because especially, the Joey tracks he used to build for like Arizona DNC, prior to before he moved to back to Los Angeles, California, the race. Those layouts were like amazing. Like driving on one was pretty good, and then like watching from live stream and all that. I think the flow and all of that was really nice, but I never sort of saw that from his SilverState. I think this one actually was one of the first ones where I could actually see that it had some of the flow. I would have still enjoyed it to be a little bit more high speed, but I think it's so low grip that you kind of have to keep it low speed too.
Well, I think what he's learned what he can do with his dart and is able to pile it up a little bit more, and it's resulted in that having that nice back section that's elevated and made for some hip jumps, and just adds for excitement. I love the double section. I wish we would have saw a 6-pack of them. I love this. And I think it just made it made for better racing, right? And as we saw that, because we saw each pro main was actually, there was no runaways. Like there was a battle to the end. Maybe Baruffolo ran away for a little bit at the end of the Pro Nitro Buggy main, but at the even in Truggy, there was a battle to the end between Lutz and Mayfield, and E-Buggy, there was a battle between Rivkin and the Dakota Fan, which was really good. All right,
the only bad thing about the track I just realized was there wasn't many overtaking points. All of the corners sort of closed in. Like on the right side, if you closed in on the double, then the kind of turn went away from you. Same thing on the left-hand side. You could jump from the inside and get to the inside on the left-hand double and then go up the hill. But that's a very high-speed section, very risky. So I wish, there was like at least one, like 180 berm. I think those are very
like
good
a bowl
places.
berm?
Yeah, kind of like a bowl berm, but not high speed. Kind of like you have to brake, and then it's a technical one. So places where you can actually force an overtake.
Well, it was kind of like that after the double and the front straight on the stacking straight where they had to.
But
I saw Little Bump try to get down there and overtake Baruffolo quite a few
times. But the issue with that was that it was really flat and there was bumps on the outside.
It was.
So you kind of it was a very narrow line, so it was hard to pull it off. And just that, because there's so many 90-degree corners, which we all know is very hard. Like it's impossible to pass in a 90-degree corner. So I think that's something that this track,
I think that
maybe was missing.
That S turn, that's where we saw a lot of forced issues. We saw a lot of I mean, also this is where we saw the X-ray retaliation. We'll talk about that. I have video of that.
Yeah, the one on the left-hand side, right?
Yeah, on the left side. That's where a lot of people forced their way through there. And that 180 prior to that, actually, you can see where Brorock forced his way through there as well. But we'll talk about
Fee crashed too. Yeah, Fee crashed there too twice.
It was a hard segment. It was a very hard segment. He bumped off there and he ran into the fluff. But we'll talk about that.
That's when Marco took the lead eventually. Yes. Like that's kind of what decided the race. Obviously, there was lots of after that. But
all right. We'll talk
about
that.
Overall, positive vibes of the track. And I think actually, shout out to Anthony, because I think he had a big
influence on it.
Yeah, because if it was just Joey, I bet he wouldn't have the time to keep packing those jumps every night, you know?
Well, I think that Westergaard's probably one of the best, if not the best track builders right now. And his jumps always seem to last a very long time and are well made. So he's definitely got that going for him. Kudos to Factory Tracks. All right, we have to pay some bills, and then we will be back. We'd like to thank Clinic RC and Racetech Engines for all their support. Here are their new Racetech Engines. I see that they were doing some work with them here the other day. You can find out more about Racetech Engines at www.clinicrc.com. And shout out to Invisible Speed. As you guys know, the 20% of this Invisible Speed commercial is not applicable because Joseph hasn't made a new one. But you can go to visiblespeed.net, use the affiliate link that's in the written description of this podcast, and help us out a little bit as well. Alrighty, Maxi. I think we should start off this by talking about qualifying. We will focus mostly on Pro Nitro Buggy, just because that's our main class and it is the glory. But qualifying was actually very interesting to start off the week. We saw, I will touch on some Truggy stuff. We saw Camden Line, this is what TQ Q3 of Truggy. But they didn't make the main, I don't think. Unfortunate, but he did have an excellent. Yeah, he TQ'd Q3 of Truggy, but did not make the main. I don't know why. I don't know what his what he done in the other qualifiers, but he did. But Camden Line was extremely fast in Nitro Buggy, and I think he had a let's see. He actually started.
He started 5th. He had a 2nd from round 2. So he
had a very beautiful run too. Like he was on fire.
I think, I don't think it's even like he had a good round or whatever, because I think he was just pretty solid all weekend.
Yes,
to be honest. Like he made like straight the main from.
Well, his first run wasn't very good. He had a 35, and then he had a 2 and a 7.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because
we were just talking about it.
That too. Like we kind of was saying, like he's gonna have his time, but on e-buggy he had a 42, 29, and a 5. Then on buggy he had a 2 and a 7 and a 35, and then in Truggy he had a 40 and 23 and a TQ. So. I don't know if it's just that he figured something out for the last round or what, but he kind of got better to the end. But like that being said, I think just overall, like
very good weekend for Camden Line.
First time, where like Camden was comfortably in the main. I don't know if it was even the first big main he's made, but like this was
he's made some other A-mains, but where he's not he's not a backmarker. Like he TQ'd around. So we was just talking about this. I think on a couple of podcasts ago, how we're impressed with how he's getting better. So I think we have to like legitimately throw his name into this fight now with these young guys.
For sure.
He has definitely shown that he is here to take RC serious. He's been putting in all this work. And it's showing. So I think Camden Lime should be getting as much praise as as Lil Bump and as we have been given.
Well, not
as much as Lil Bump after this weekend. But definitely he should be in the Brandon Rose. He should be. I don't think he's as good as Fuller per se, but I would put him with Caden Fuller. And
I think he's in the group of like Caden, Pavidis, Rose.
I would agree there.
I'm blanking on the others, but they are drivers that are kind of on that range. Maybe Wiggins at one point. He's maybe matured away from that. He's more focused on other things, I think in RC. But like he's not that what I say? He's more focused on, setup, brand stuff and all of that.
Well, I mean, just a great weekend for Camden Lime. And he's been having a lot of positive results as well. So kudos to him. I even messaged him and said, congratulations. I thought it was good.
Yeah. I think actually one really good thing about it is because I think for him, from what I gather, he's quite talented in a lot of things, not only RC. So I think having results like this, maybe he puts like RC
first
more.
Which I think he has.
Yeah. So I think it might be that the next race is good again, and then just success brings more success. But
not only that, I would say that the guys, Tim Lime and all those guys, have been really working hard on the SRX car, and it looked good. I saw. I got to watch Patrick Rossiter's car at 2 races, and his car looks really good, like really, really good.
Do they still run the HB rear end, or is that,
I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. I'm sure the SRX guys out there will comment and let us know if they are. Yeah. So also I wanted to say some special shout outs. So let's look here. So FCJ, Frankie Contreras Jr. made every single A-main besides the Pro Nitro Buggy A-main.
Yeah, I mean, he was still close. He was in the B. Like, the B was like...
He's in the B.
Oh, wait, he wasn't in the B? Oh, no,
he was in the B of Pro Nitro. I think he finished 4th or 5th.
5th, yeah. He was, 7 seconds off the bump, So it's not like... And, he didn't lose to any bad guys. He in front of him was Kilic and Savoya. And, I mean, Mason bumped from the B, and he finished on 3rd. And right behind Frankie is Testman, Figueredo, Drake, Pavidis, even Tebow, Berk and Kilic. It's like, I think Frankie, it's because for me at least, it was kind of like you heard about him at DNC, and then you really didn't. He wasn't at other races. I don't know if he did good at.
He probably does JBRL, but he hasn't done any big races.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like,
this is where I implore. Yeah, I implore. Like, I even told his dad, I'm like, man, you got to get over to some of those race time events. You got to, and I hope that they do, because he needs to be at these big races, racing consistently. Yes, he gets to race JBRL and against some of the best over there in California, but I implore that he gets over to these race time events and races with these guys, because I think he can. It's just going to make him better, right? But I think great performance for FCJ. Sure. Unfortunately, he did not make the Pro Nitro Buggy main, but there are many others that didn't make that main with him. Let's just go through. We'll go through those that made it directly through in Pro Nitro. So obviously, to go to fan was your TQ Cole Ogden. Cole Ogden goes out there and TQs round 1 and then gets a 3 and a 12. And then we'll talk about him in the main. Spencer Rivkin was looking very solid, even though he had an 8, and a 0, and a 6. He did TQ round 1. I thought that Rivkin was going to be better in the main as well. Baruffolo, like I said, he had a 5, a 8, and a 2. Camden Line with the 35, 2, and 7. Lil Bump, 7, 4, and 9. Cole Tollard, CFT. I think this is a very positive qualifying result for him. He had a 14, 5, 8. Mayfield. No, we have to talk about Mayfield. He had a 3, 59, and a 13. I think he broke. He had a DNF in round 2. But Mayfield squeaked. If he hadn't got that 3 in that first round, he would have been in that B main somewhere. Yeah. Tater Sontag once again making another A main. Not only is he making these A main finals in 10 scale, but he's doing it as well in 8 scale. we have to legitimately throw Tater Sontag in there as one of these top young guns. I have him up there, a scotch beneath Mason Fuller, and that's just because he's just not. I don't have Tater winning right now, but in 10 scale he can win. I think right now, and it's just a matter of time. I think he just went 16.
I think Tater is an interesting driver because he was fast already at very young. You know, he was fast when he was like I remember like maybe 6 years ago he was already like winning intermediate races. You know, but then for a little bit he kind of faded out. But then this year he's definitely been strong. And the thing is, like, a lot of drivers have one good race, you know, like Lil Bump has like kind of went over that point already too. But at one point, Fee had races where he would do well, and then other races where he would kind of be in the C. Whereas Tater kind of, as soon as he got in the main, he's kind of been at every main this year.
Yes,
as far as
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, so let's go Tater. Ryan Lutz in 10th. Ryan Lutz had a great truggy run as well. We'll touch on that. Seth freaking Van Dalen, once again, like 9, 11, 34. I'm kind of expecting better out of Seth, but, you know, he made the main. Ryan Cavallari, dude. I didn't know that Ryan Cavallari went third because I went sleep. So Ryan Cavallari went third for the last round. The GOAT, I'm telling you. Brandon Rose also had a very good third run, which helped him out as well because he had an 18, 18, and a 4. And the younger Caden Fuller, who would be your last straight into the main, which was shocking, had an 11, 12, and a 31. So he did not have the best qualifying results, but enough to get that 14th place because they took 14 straight into the main, and then they took 2 bump ups. And then we look at our B man. We had Warnhorse, Barkan Killick, Ty Tesser, Renato Savoya, Frankie Contraster, Kyle Turner, who's a very good North Kyle driver, Spencer Hackett, Aiden Horn, Cole Caston, Borat Killick, Ryan Pavidis, and Mason Fuller. I think would he have been in the Mason Fuller, Adam Drake, Tanner Denny? I think those are the guys. That's your B main right there, because then in the C main, which was still stacked, we had Yao Figueredo, Tyler Hooks, Jared Tebow, Carlos Arredondo, Lee Setzer down in the C main. Jared Wiggins as well, Joey Bordon, and I'm mentioning these names because these are all guys that have made A mains over the last 2 years. Joey Bordon, not as many as those guys. Jermaine Robinson having a stinker. Alex Bernardzik. So I was expecting a lot from Alex, because you heard all the Australian guys talk about him, but first time in America was not kind to him.
Yeah, but I think this is the issue with drivers like, you know, Alex or, well, Kyle McBride was kind of an exception to the rule because he could go to SilverState and win, you know?
I could put Kyle McBride in the A final at SilverState if he still went this year.
Yeah.
I would put him in the A final.
The thing is that races like SilverState or Neo Buggy or even DNC, I'd say, those are like, if you go there as your first race abroad, so difficult. You get so little track time. Every time you go out, the track is completely different. The watering might screw you up if you get into a bad sort. You know, the watering usually
you definitely need some experience.
Yeah, and then on top of all that, well, at this race it's not that big of an issue. But I remember at DNC, you know, getting ready for that last qualifier, and I pick up my car and like the suspension is just stuck because it's so cold, you know. And I never raced at night, you know. So like the difference between day and night, here that wasn't a thing, but completely foreign surface way of racing, all of that. So I think for it's hard because like
it's
where else
could you go? Fire.
Yeah, but
pretty
like
much
it's very, very difficult to do well.
Because other people from that area did better than him, but they've been to this race before.
Yeah,
and
that's
they've
the
been to
thing.
America prior to him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Dexter, for example, like he went to America many times and he did well in America. But this was, I think, first time for Alex racing abroad. And also on top of all that, I will argue that this isn't the best surface for.
I mean,
like,
Caleb Noble out qualified him, and even Jaden Jemison, but they've both been to this race before.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that like what I was gonna saying is, it's where he succeeds usually is higher grip. Prep tracks either with oil or like glue or whatever, like high grip prep tracks, sugar tracks. That's where he performs really well in Australia. So
all right, well,
I think that's kind of like this is exactly the opposite. So.
Let's talk about some of these big names that were weighed on. Let's start with Bornhorst, who just missed out. He did make the main in the final, but was not really that much of a factor, I believe. Barkan, Tasman, Savoia, I'm not too surprised. I'm actually surprised that Savoia was actually fast. He looked at one point like he could bump up. Burak not making it. Pavidis not making it. Adam Drake, no surprise there because he's Adam Drake and he's not there for his results. Mason Fuller, 26, having to come from the B main. Yao Figueredo, 29th. Jared Tebow, 31. Man, I think not the best. I mean, Tebow bumped up, but he was a non-factor in the B main, which, I think Tebow goes home disappointed not making this A main at SilverState. But he also has to understand that this is part of the evolution, I would say.
Yeah, I think that talking to people in Mayaka, he definitely still is looking for a suitable setup, all around setup,
and he's looking to do well. I agree with that.
Yeah,
but not the best weekend for him. But he didn't have a good weekend in Buggy. He made the A main. He was driving the HB truck. He made the A main in Nitro Truggy, which is really his really good class. And I think he ended up finishing. Let's see here. He finished. Let's see. Hold on. This is Nitro Truck. So he finished. No, hold on. Sorry. He did not make the A main in Nitro Truck. I thought he did. He made the A main in E-Buggy. So he did not. He was in the B main and Nitro Truck as well. So that's even unusual for him because truck he's usually up there.
Yeah, but then again, usually he runs a techno truck. Now he runs an HB truck. It's that's kind of like you want something you're used to. I think that at least like I didn't talk directly with Jared, but I talk with people who were there. So it was just kind of like he doesn't have experience. He never raced on a track like this on the cars before, Because
so without having any technos or I get what you mean. Especially in truck because he's seen success in the truck when he was running the techno. Yeah,
but the thing is like techno truck is really good to start out with, and also it's like that's what I always kind of hesitate when we do this race recaps about races like the DNC and SilverState, because the track changes so much during the race, and it's like it's a lot of it is just down to luck that you nail the setup for the main, and also that you really feel comfortable with the car. It's not like like Mayfield wasn't a factor, and a European teammate coming for first time at SilverState, I believe, and he wins. Same car, and it's not like J Concept's tires were bad because the second and third guy and even fourth guy run J Concept, So it's a lot of it is just like having the feeling,
Okay. So. All right. So look. It wasn't a great result for Tasman, for Tasman either, but it wasn't a great result for Tebow. I'm sure he's not happy about any of those results. Yeah, he's going to have to go back to the drawing board and find out something. But somebody else who had a stinker of a weekend is Ty Tasman, man. Ty Tasman, he was in the B main. He looked strong in the beginning of the B main. I thought he was going to bump up, but I believe Mason Fuller, man. Mason Fuller and who else? Let's see. Joe Bornhorst. Joe Bornhorst kind of got out to a good lead, right? in the B main, and then Mason Fuller came from behind to do this because Burak and Burak was looking good. I thought Burak was gonna bump,
he was
but
fast.
he made a mistake. He was very fast. You can see he was fast than a lot of guys, but he was trying to push the issue, but he didn't want to touch nobody. I understand that he didn't want to touch anybody, especially after what happened the previous weekend. But he made some mistakes.
No, but like, just looking at his lap times, his top 5 average is half a second faster than Mason. You know,
he was fast.
His fastest lap is 7/10 faster than Mason, a second faster than Bornhorst. You know, so Burak was like crazy fast. I think it was just an issue of, you know, he kind of always got stuck behind someone in the start, and then when he got free road, he just made a mistake almost immediately. So just to reiterate his pace, his top 15 average is better than 2/10 better than Joe Bornhorst's fastest lap. Okay, so in a race where he only ran 32 laps, half of his laps were faster than Joe Bornhorst's one best lap. Okay, so
I didn't realize how close it was near the end. It was only by 1.15 seconds in the end, and that was close because we have also. So this was a very good B man, by the way. The racing was very good. If you have live RC and you pay your $5 for your bonus membership, which I do, you can go and watch these mains right off the bat. And I'm going to give you a sneak preview of Tessman earning his stripes and getting back some retaliation for X-Ray, right? But also it kind of backfired on him because he took himself out here. But even you can hear the crowd going, ooh, and I thought it was Burak that did this at first. But it wasn't. It was Tessman flying the Canadian flag versus the Turkish flag. Let's bring that up so we can see this. X-ray
like flying
retaliation.
the Slovakian flag at this point because it's an X-ray and UMB.
Let me find this. Hold on for a second, guys. I have it. I just gotta put it up on screen. So near the end of the B main here, Burak and Tessman were fighting for third and fourth place. So Burak was basically in third, and they were fighting for that third spot, and they weren't too far off because as we can see that. So here we are. I think this is with 1 minute left to go. We see. Oh, here we go. So there's Burak going on the inside of Tessman, very clean. Boom!
Oh my God! I didn't see that. I didn't see that one yesterday. But that was just like he just took him out.
Let's go back. Here we go again. I will pause it so we can see. So there we go, Mason Fuller. So now the camera puts in. Okay, so there we have it. Tessman turns in. This is Burak right here. Tessman is on the outside. Burak is on the inside. Right? So Tessman goes wide.
Burak kind of forces him wide, and then Tessman just.
Look at this.
Yeah. Well, to be honest,
goes upside down.
To be honest, I think that was just retaliation for his own sake, because you paid it out like he was doing revenge for Coelho. Like Coelho was calling him, from Portugal, like in the Bond movies, there's the villain in a dark room and with a phone, it's like take him out, like you was painting a picture that he was like that. But now that I see the clip, because I didn't see this yesterday, I just heard you talk about it. Like now that I see the clip, I think Tessman was just pissed that Burak touched him and then went by.
I don't think Burak
and just
touched him.
He did.
I think Burak did. I don't think Burak touched him. Look, he did not. There's space him. No, he didn't. He didn't.
No, but he touched going into the corner.
No, man. I don't think he touched at all.
Yes,
I don't think he touched at all. Look,
you can see here. So. When he jumps here, he touches Tessman's rear. See here, Tessman's rear and kicks out.
No, Tessman is crooked. I'm telling you. Look, Burak is turning. You can see. Look, you can see his wheel is turned slightly over there. I wish I had this on slow motion. Better slow motion. They look like they touched, but they didn't touch.
They did touch. Okay.
Oh, they touched right there.
Yeah. I know.
Hey,
okay. I know you're homies with the Killage brothers, but you gotta be honest here. They did touch. Okay.
I don't think.
But to be honest, that was still very funny when Testman, because that Testman just lost it and was like, I don't even care, because they could have bumped. I mean, Burak was a second off the bump, you know. So I don't know why Testman like lost.
Tyrone, as they were calling him in the chat, because I don't know if it's Ty is short for Tyler, Tyson, or Tyrone, but we're gonna go with Tyrone.
Well,
Tyrone Testman
move. Yeah.
Tyrone Testman earned his prison teardrop. That's what he did. Hoodie goes, here you go. Hey, at any means necessary when you can, take out the Killix. And here we go. We had X-ray revenge for Bruno. I'm only joking.
Okay.
I don't think that happened, but it definitely. Hey,
you just like this.
Listen.
You just like this storyline. You have like this
because
in your
there's a
head.
rivalry brewing her. There, it's X-ray and Mugen. No, it's definitely a rivalry brewing her.
You watch too much fantasy movies. You know, you watch too much Star Wars and all that nerd shit. You're like.
You don't watch enough. Hey, all I know is that this felt like Tasman was given like, hey, you've earned your stripes now. You're fully a part of X-Ray now. Yeah. You took one for the team. I'm only joking about that, but it definitely looks like Burak. It was very close. I still don't think he touched. But I mean, when Tasman went to take him out, he took himself out. Like that was the funny thing about it. So all his stripes, all his teardrop, all gone because he took himself out.
It's almost like an Austin Powers movie. Like the villain jumps in and then they just like kill themselves, and then Austin Powers there like, oh, what am I gonna do with the gun? It's like. We could write a movie about Uri Hoodie calling in from a dark room, in his headphones, take him out, and then Testman going there and doing all Austin Powers shit, and that's it.
All I know is that he tried to take him out, and he got taken. He took.
Yeah. That was like that part that cannot be mistaken. He definitely tried to take Burak out.
All I know is that the Killix are on watch now for any X-ray drivers. They are on watch for any X-ray drivers. But yes, it was a very great B main. Joe Morenhorst and Mesa Fuller bump up. Then that was the B main. So they bump up. Yeah. They started in the A main.
By the way, this was the second time already this year Mason's qualified in the B. DNC, he qualified in the B, didn't bump. This time he bumped and finished on the podium, which is a very good result. But definitely some struggles in the qualifying.
Are we thinking there's struggles with this rough track with him?
I mean, I'd say, like, even if we look at like where he's done well before, what was that race he won or beat Mayfield? Southern
Nationals.
Yeah, that race, that in my opinion at least, that's not a very blown out track. Mm-hmm. He does really well at race time events in general, which are less bumpy than these
not
tracks.
As bumpy as this.
Yeah, but then again, he did really well at the Raw Nationals last year, which was really rough. So it's kind of like he can do well on bumpy tracks. And to be honest, like here finished in third. And I have to say, like, already by looking at the results, like this was a strong weekend for HB. Like, yes. And I mean, to start out with, I have to say this is good. Like, this is HB stomping ground. But nevertheless, 2 spots on the podium. How many cars?
Three.
Yeah, well.
So listen, Mason Fuller got 2 thirds, a win, and a 5th this weekend. He got a 3rd in E-Buggy, a 3rd in Nitro Buggy, a win in E-Truck, a 5th in Nitro Truck.
I'm a little bit grinning cringing when you say that, a win and he wins.
Dude, E-Truck had 2 heats of
I know.
It is legitimate and it's her. You cannot deny it.
I mean, I have to say that you are right that it was pretty stacked. Like that is no joke. But still, like, can we leave it out of it until it's like when everybody run? Like Fenn didn't run it, and he's like your guy.
You know what? Maybe he should have. Then he'd have more than one win because he TQ'd three. He TQ'd everything, and then he has one win.
He TQ'd all the classes he ran. All the classes he ran.
But he only won one of the classes that he ran, and he almost lost that.
Yeah, and
almost lost that.
Actually, I want to confess something for our viewers.
Before you confess, we have to pay some bills. Thank you.
Okay.
Techno
Well,
RC.
you guys have to wait a little bit before I say that. I
because your confession might be 10 minutes.
No,
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance A-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
Thank you
That's
to
a
Techno.
new ad.
Yes, new ad from I saw it on this live stream yesterday. Contacted Matt and asked him to have it. Actually, goes to Tekashi 69 on there. So whoever was looking up like that, they like Tekashi 69. He's actually got some good songs out in our Latin world, even though it's Anyway, what was your confession, Max?
So my confession was that I thought I had been wrong. Okay.
About what?
So, well, you remember before the podcast, I was like, yeah, I still don't trust in Fend, and I said he just SilverState isn't his race, like he might get a podium, but he ain't the favorite going in. Then he goes and fucking TQs all three classes he's running. So I have to say, in the back of my head, I had this moment where I was like, have I been wrong? Was there something wrong about my thoughts or my logic? But then I ended up hearing that he flamed out in the Truggy main, didn't win. And then watching the Buggy main, that confirmed to me that was just a scare. I hadn't been wrong. I was right all along. But I have to confess that I did have that moment of, like
where you
hesitation.
thought you was wrong?
Yeah.
All right. So we're actually watching
for everyone listening, I do have those moments too.
Where you doubt yourself?
Yeah.
All right. So we're actually watching the Pro Buggy main here, which Fend is in the lead of. And trust me, he tried to lose it a lot of times at this race. I think so. It looks like we have Rivkin right behind him and Mason Fuller right there as well. This was a very good race as well, with Rivkin pushing him, but Fend would take the win. While we watch this, we'll talk about. I think we should just get right into. Let's touch on Nitro Truggy as well while we're here. So, because this is where we saw Fend actually. He was dominating. He had one lap up on Mayfield. Sorry, he had one pit stop up on Mayfield. Very similar to DNC. And then we saw these amazing fast pit stops from Mike Sontag, which he's been doing all year and all last year, as well as Chloe. I think so. What happens if Tater isn't in the final? Mike Sontag pits him. And for Truggy, I watched Mike Sontag at PNB pretty much. Or was it SI? One of those races where I credit Mike Sontag for Fend winning that race because he got him out there so fast. But man, we're looking at a good battle between Fuller and Rivkin right now. But there we go. Fuller makes a mistake. I have to say that in this Nitro Truggy main, that Fend kind of, I don't know what happened, man. He ran out of fuel like three quarters in a lap. And just cost him big time. I don't know if he tried to go an extra lap.
I don't really know what the thing is, because this is not like uncommon for Fend. He runs out of fuel, like, or is close to running out of fuel very often. Like, one race that comes to mind was DNC 2021. That was the race where he was like, it was looking like he's gonna beat Mayfield, but then he ended up like, the engine went lean, and I think he even flamed in a pit stop, and then he ended up blowing a glow bug. But I think, if he runs out of fuel, in my opinion, more often than others, or at least has issues with the fuel mileage more than others.
Well, I mean, when he ran out of fuel this time, he had like 8 seconds or more up on Mayfield, I believe. And I was like, man, he could have come in that lap prior, but to run out of fuel there, and I think, I don't know what's going on. Maybe because at PMB they ran good stints, they were good.
Yeah.
Also, though, I would say that at PME there's no tech, so maybe they had to have run short of fuel liner, or adhere to the rules. I don't know what happened. Like, and not only did we see this happen in Truggy, but we saw this happen in Nitro Buggy before the first pit stop.
Yeah, that, like the Nitro Buggy one. Well, I think we can talk about that a bit later on. But
right,
in general, like, it's weird. I mean, he was the only one even going for 9 minutes in Buggy, but in truck and all of those other classes, like, others were running it too. So I don't know if he just or like they as a team, or like overestimate his fuel mileage, or then they just take risks, or I don't really know what it is.
And Truggy has a bigger tank, so maybe they didn't get as much fuel in it in their pit stop because they were fast.
I mean, that actually is one thing that easily happens, that when you fill up with a gun really fast, it often happens that like the pressure inside makes it that it doesn't go all the way full. Like when you fill it with a bottle, it goes fuller than, not pun intended, but it goes fuller than with.
I don't know, man. It was shocking. I was not expecting him to run out of fuel. He had such a big lead. He probably should have come in that lap prior, I would say. But I know that wasn't their whatchamacallit. So, weird. Maybe they were trying to stretch it. Like, we can stretch it. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. But to be honest, like, in Truggy, it's a bit weird because he was comfortably in the lead. There was really no point in
didn't do it. Like, he didn't need it.
Yeah. But then
he could have come in that lap earlier. He could have, and he still would have had an enormous lead. So I think I don't know, man. I would say I think maybe I hate to say this, but I think his pit crew let him down this time around.
Well, who is pitting for him in Truggy?
Mike Sontag. He seems to always pit him in Truggy because he does, and I must admit he does these amazingly fast pits. He does that one-handed pit where it's going, and it's filling up as he's letting it loose. And he's super fast, and I'm seeing him actually help. But it's just weird, man. It's just weird. If they ran out of fuel, they could have flamed out. They could have just flamed out.
Yeah.
But it seems like more likely that they just ran out of fuel. This is the start of the Truggy main, which Y'all Figueredo actually qualified third. Y'all showed impressive pace during practice, but kind of fell off in qualifying.
He was fast in a B in Buggy still. Like I love. He was the second fastest guy, like in lap times in the Nitro Buggy B main. But I mean, he's a driver who kind of overdrives, kind of like a Baruffolo, always on the limit.
So these guys had a very good race until Mayfield. Mayfield definitely looks, out of all the vehicles that he's switched over now, Truggy is the one he looks the most comfortable with. And
that does make sense.
Yes.
Like Tekno Truggy is like, people say it's one of the best, and then Mayfield is one of the best. So I think it's to be expected for some. I mean, obviously he'll need to take time to get used to it as well before he can have really good results. But I think that's the class where I expected him to start doing well immediately.
Yeah, so this was a 45-minute final. Him and Fenn have this nice little hook, but then, as I said, Fenn is going one stop less, sorry. So that kind of pulls out a gap. But when Fenn runs out of fuel, Mayfield obviously capitalizes on that, but he does not run away with it because Lutz is actually right there near the end. Like, he's 3.4 seconds back here. We just switched to Lutz. But very good for Lutz. Like, I thought this was a good result for him. He probably could have pushed the issue. I believe Tessman ran out with 7 minutes to go, I think. So I'm sorry, not Tessman. Fend ran out with 7 minutes to go. So, Lutz had time, but not enough. But Mayfield was just in the zone now. Looks like it's coming up on Bornhorst or Cavallari there. And congratulations to Tekno and Ryan Mayfield. They take home the Nitro Truggy Championship, followed by Ryan Lutz. I think Spencer Rifkin came third.
Yeah, Rifkin third.
Fourth, and Fuller fifth. Fenn coming back to fourth after that flame out, that running out of fuel. But
by the way,
what up?
Your guy, Ryan Cavallari, finished sixth in Truggy.
Yeah, you keep doubting the GOAT. The most impressive overall out of all these guys, out of the three greats this weekend, in my opinion. Besides Mayfield actually winning this.
Yeah.
But Cavallari finished better than him in Nitro Buggy, and I think finished better than him in E-Buggy. So the GOAT, Cavallari, is not dead. He's making that WRC look good. So, Max, you're going to have to take your words back a little bit there. All right.
I mean, okay, I have to say that this weekend was, I cannot say anything like bad about Cavallari because it was a move in the right direction. Yes, he should be winning races, but I think as long as he keeps this and then improves a bit by bit, I think this is acceptable. But it hasn't been very strong before. But I have to say this weekend I have to say that he did all right. I have to say maybe even well. He did well.
He did well. Hey, he let's not call it a comeback. Let's say he never left. You and Joseph had him completely written off, and now he's here. There we go. Mayfield coming over.
He finished 15th in Nitro Buggy. That's not being there.
Who finished 15th in Nitro Buggy?
Oh, sorry, 10th.
That is better than Mayfield.
I mean, yeah, but Mayfield
better than Tebow.
Mayfield flamed out. Well, yeah, okay, but
what? What was that you was gonna say? Give the GOAT his props, Max. Give the GOAT his props.
I mean, I already said he did. It was a solid weekend. He made the main in all classes, I believe. And let me check E-Buggy. Did he make one in E-Buggy?
Not sure. I would have to bring that up. All right, so let's talk about. I believe he made the main in E-Buggy because I did see him. Let's go. You know what? Let's take a break.
I don't see him in E-Buggy.
You find if he is an E-Buggy, I'm going to pay some bills, and then we're going to come back and talk about Nitro Buggy.
Oh, he was 13.
See? Always trying to doubt him. Hey, guys, tomorrow I fly off to Barcelona, Portugal, where I'm going to be a part of the International Buggy Challenge, which is taking place at the Punta. I don't know the name of the facility, but it belongs to Yao Figueiredo.
Punta de la Este.
No, that's in Uruguay. It's like Punta de something. But I am traveling there to be a part of the stream and do some NNRC coverage. I like to thank Yao Source for getting me out there, as well as Hot Race for helping me as well. All NNRC coverage will be brought to you by Invisible Speed and Hot Race, as well as I'll be working with the stream, so you guys can follow all that. I will be posting links on the No Name RC Podcast Facebook page and my personal Facebook page. right. So we can follow all the coverage from the IBC race coming up. Starting actually this Friday, it starts. I'll be there Wednesday. I'm really looking forward to this, Max. I really am. I'm excited to go to Portugal. Just my first real big Euro race. Yes, I went to the Worlds, but this is like my first big Euro non-sanctioned. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun. And
you've
looks
been
like
to RC, you've been in Europe.
Yes, I have, but this is a little bit more stacked. Let's put it that way.
Really?
Yeah, this is gonna have,
RCGP in Italy had all the same guys. Well, the Kilic wasn't there, but Kilic
the Kilic not going to this. Yeah, but this has everybody else besides the Kilic, so it should be good. All right, let's talk about the glory, and that glory is Nitro Buggy, which we all love and we're just all waiting for, and we all hate to admit it. You know what? Actually, I know somebody that has something to say about Nitro Buggy racing, Max. Let's see if I can find out what he has to say.
Listen, people, don't get it twisted. Tebow, Mayfield, Drake, Ronafalk, Boots, Ungaro, Fenn, Cav, Rifkin, Bornhorst, Ty, all say E-Buggy. Let's rip Nitro, Buggy, and Chuggy all day, night, weekend, and year long. But contract says, must do damn boring ass put me to sleep 110 Buggy and listen to high-powered sewing machines. Me.
See? That is the ultimate anti-E-Buggy rant by Nitro Kart. I was going through some of my voice notes when I was looking for Mathis and all that, and I found that, and I thought that would be epic. He just ripped.
Even I'm not that against E-Buggy.
Oh my gosh!
I actually am kind of an E-Buggy fan these days. Like I just hate Chuggy. You know.
Oh my gosh! I want to reiterate that was not our words. That was sent in from a fan of the show, and who really likes E-Buggy. Apparently not. But let's get cracking. We have the start of the 45-minute Nitro Buggy to receive. Mason Fuller has bumped up, as well as called Joe Bornhorst. We saw CFT there. And I'm not going to lie. When I saw the start of this, I'm thinking...
I thought Fenn was going to run away with it for a little bit.
And I thought that Ogden was going to be more of a factor. And we see Rivkin right behind him. So I'm like, all right, we got a three-way battle here. But there's Baruffolo, like, just sticking his nose in, like, ooh, I'm here. I'm here. I honestly thought that we was going to see Fend, Ogden, Rivkin, and that there's Baruffolo right there. So it is very close right off the bat. But here we see Ogden and Fend pull off, but Ogden makes a mistake and just fades to nothingness. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I like Cole, but I cannot understand how you can be so fast in qualifying and then just fade to nothingness in this main, especially when Lil Bump and Mason Fuller had such great runs.
Yeah, and isn't Caden Fuller in this main too?
He's in this too, but he's not really a factor in this.
Yeah, but like there's 4 HPs in the main, like no excuse. Like what's going on?
He makes that mistake and he just never recovers.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just. I
mean, even her, we see Fenn just pulling away.
I don't really want to like keep saying this, but I've said it so many times. Like he needs to, get it together consistently. Like have the speed. It's fine if he was 5th all the time. I think that would be okay. But like he might be 2nd one round and then just, blow out of the main like an hour after, So it's I don't know. And right now, like if we're looking at this year, like obviously he had a strong DNC and so on. But if you're looking at, well, let's say the past year, so counting races from last year as well, like he's looking like to be like
he's not even. I don't even know.
Not even a second best like HP driver at the moment.
Not at the moment, because Lil Bump's stock just went through the freaking roof after this race. We see Camden Line here is battling with Baruffolo a little bit, but see Fenn's just kind of pulling away. But Ogden
that's the thing. like 5 minutes into the main, Fend had an over 5-second lead, you know. Then he crashes. Others come into pits. He flames out, and then he's just like 4th, 5th for the rest of the main. You know, never kind of catches up anymore.
So I'm watching Baruffolo, right? And I think you're right. I don't think he slows down. Like, he just stays at this pace the entire time. I think that's where he made a mistake right there. That's Baruffolo. Little Bump got by.
Kind of, I'm kind of bummed for Fee because by far he looked the fastest in the main, in my opinion. Like, even if like just by eye, he did look the fastest, and when we actually look at the lap times as well, like he's top 10 average is better. Actually, his top 15 average is better than Baruffolo's top 5 average, and his top 10 average is same as Baruffolo's best lap. And he was the only one apart from Rivkin. Well, actually, Seth managed to do a 35, but Mayfield did too. But there was a few 35s, but he was one driver who could, in the like top 2 fight, pull out a 35, you know, or a very low 36. You know, that many drivers couldn't do that. And like his top 5 average is under 36. You know, no one else is like even close. It's Fend has a 0.78, so basically 36.1. So he was like undoubtedly the fastest driver in the main, and just by looking at his car, like you could see in this like when he was like, that's one crash where he lost a lot of time.
No, that wasn't Fee though.
That's
was not Fly. No,
it is. That's
Fee right there.
Who was that then?
That was Caden Fuller. Don't worry,
really?
Scotty got it confused too.
Oh, okay. Because they was following
this is
him.
Fee now, and he's right behind.
Okay.
He's right behind Fend.
Okay, that makes sense because that was like confusing. Okay, but anyway, like he crashes on the left-hand side twice. You know, so that's when he drops back a lot, and then Baruffolo is in the lead, and here especially, like there was times when he was way back, like a second back, and on those double section, he just catched all of it up to Baruffolo, you know. And here in the left-hand side, when he got it right after he crashed here, he was really looking good. So I was kind of like, only reason I think why Baruffolo ended up like winning it was because Fee kind of ran over, like his lines went over all the bumps, you know, whereas Baruffolo couldn't even step a tire into the bumps. His car was really nervous over the bumps, but he ran like wide lines around the bumps, especially like under the straight. He was really to the pipe. Same on the here you can see this was first time crashing, and then the next time was a bit longer. But all of the sections, Baruffolo goes where there isn't bumps, and he kind of kept those lines for the whole main. And as soon as as during the main, the track got bumpier and bumpier, he ended up pulling out the gap. Because here, like you remember in like let's say after the first pit stop, Fee was clearly faster. Like he was visible, way faster than Baruffolo. But then the last 2 pit stops, Baruffolo was easily just controlling the lead, even pulling out a bit each lap.
Yeah, Fee struggled in this section compared to Baruffolo, and Baruffolo really had that inside line on, which kept it tight over that double. I did see Baruffolo make a mistake here.
Yeah, but all of the sections
was just faster her.
Yeah,
Fee was just faster her.
This like right hand side of the track, he was like, this was crazy. Like I think even this lap, like he just, it's probably not here, but he like just, I don't know how it was. I think it's just that his car was like had just so much better like balance. It looked a bit softer, more forgiving. So when you really got the grip down, he had more grip. Whereas Baruffolo's car just looked really stiff, and he just drove the hell out of it.
Oh man, Fee was able to make up so much time when they got. We'll show it later, but as you can see, we're already up to where we're 30. People coming for their first pits. Mason Fuller is already up to 5th.
Yeah,
already up to 5th.
Mason, after the first pit stop cycle, I think Mason was in 4th. So there was this time where it was Fee second, Baruffolo leading, and then it was Lutz, Mason, and Fend fighting for 3rd. And Mayfield was in the fight too, but he was never he never got up to 3rd. He was always like there, just behind the fight for 3rd. And then in the end, he had some issue because he ended up, I don't know if he DNF'd, but definitely went to the back.
Oh no, I think so. So Fend should be coming in soon.
Fee comes in this lap, so he goes like 8:45, but Fend is trying to do 9-minute stops because I think what happened was Fend thought he knew that he might be able to go 9, and then they saw Fee not going for 7:30, and they were like, okay, we have to go 9 because Fee was looking fast already in the beginning, and that's kind of where it happens. Like right now, you can already see the car is like barely going, Yeah, it's lean bugging, and
he's so lucky. He's so lucky.
Yeah,
and then Chloe goes running on to get it. She goes running on to get it, and it's there already. And they just like.
Yeah, I don't know. This was also very slow to get it on.
I know
because she had the gun and she went to get the car, and then they couldn't get it running.
Yeah,
so,
but I will be honest with you. Even when this happened, I'm like, okay, Fenn didn't lose that much. I thought he would come back. But then this is when Baruffolo and freaking Fee just went. Like, they didn't slow each other down. They raced. Like, we see Fee coming up on him. And I'm just like, is Fee going to do it? Is Baruffolo going to, like, do what Baruffolo does? Because Baruffolo would take this double right here, right? That Fee's going over. And he would get so close to that pipe. If I was there, I would have just been like, hey, Marco, stop doing that. You have all this real estate.
But the same thing with the right-hand side, That's what I was talking about earlier. Right here, you can see Fee just runs over the bumps. Same here, like just runs over the bumps. And he did that all throughout the main. Like, I was looking like, why isn't he changing his line? But, I mean, he was doing still fast, it's not that. But Baruffolo, you can see, like, as soon as he hits a bump, he gets way out of shape. So everywhere he just tries to keep it into the clear line. And that's why he jumps, like, so close to the pipes and so on. And here, he for the whole race, he took the inside line, whereas Fee went to the outside over the bumps, And, like, you see here?
Yep.
Baruffolo goes around the bumps, or outside, and Fee goes over the bumps. So that's what I noticed. Like, Fee's car was definitely better over the bumps, and he could carry more speed. But then Baruffolo, just held his lines, keep driving very well. So that's one reason also why I think this was like a very well-deserved win for Marco.
So do you think we see this?
Amazing.
Are we seeing maturing Baruffolo come out of that madman style where send it fucking or break it on the first lap? Hers where it gets really interesting. Oh my gosh, these guys are hooking right here.
Yeah.
Well, actually, are we seeing a new, like, this is a lot of pressure that Baruffolo is under right now to keep Fee off, because Fee is like on him.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't think Baruffolo has ever been like an immature driver in like
aggressive, but he always seems to either you're gonna get Baruffolo that's gonna send it.
Yeah, that's the thing is that he doesn't have like a conservation mode,
right?
Like, he doesn't have a, like, for example, Ongaro, like, he has those times where he just goes ballistic and drives so much faster than everyone else. But he also has those times where he just controls the lead. That's the difference between Baruffolo and Ongaro, where a lot of the times Baruffolo ends up crashing. Sometimes he ends up even braking, whereas Ongaro never has that. And I think, you know, even at this race, there wasn't a point where I saw Baruffolo being like, okay, I have the lead, I'm going to calm down. You know, he kept pushing till the end. He was doing low 36s, like even the
I would
last.
agree there. I would agree there.
You know,
I would.
So I don't think. I think the only thing that I would say is I would have to say that for him the move to Tekno actually worked out. Like, I remember watching him at the World's warm-up last year and just seeing him drive the car around the track as fast as he did. And it didn't look like the car was like handling like any way well, or like, because sometimes you see a driver like, oh, that's like he's won with the car, you know, that kind of feeling. But with Marco, it didn't look like that, but he was still going fast, incredibly fast. So I think he sort of found a space with Tekno where he can put the car into a slide that he likes, you know, which he probably couldn't do with X-Ray. There was situations where he was super fast with X-Ray as well, but with Tekno, I think, especially on lower grip, he has seemed very strong. Yeah, on high grip, he has struggled for sure. I have to say that. But I think this is sort of his move to Tekno sort of carrying fruit, I think. Because I have seen him have like that incredible speed at times when it's like lower grip and he's, you know, feeling it himself.
Yeah, I think we saw him back it off just enough to not mess it up. Like, he's still he wanted it on Marco style, like where he's going balls out. He hit that line the entire race. In fact, he went wide at some point. There he goes against Cavallari, who finished 10th, by the way. And Fee was just so much more incredibly fast on his right side of the track. This isn't the end of the race because Fee's right there. They come in for pits because Fee's doing one less pit stop than Baruffolo. So we come in for Baruffolo. Nicola and Burak doing some really good pits there as well. I'm pretty sure Nico's heart is going a million miles an hour.
Yeah.
Ooh, when he did that, I was just like, oh my gosh, Marco,
but the
don't
thing
do that no more.
He was doing that the whole race from all the way to the last like pit stops. And I don't know, like one thing actually,
car looks phenomenal. Like he is
that's the thing. Like he can get out of shape and then correct it. And here, especially here, if he has a bad landing, he can just power out like that, like he did there.
And look, you'll see he comes inside. And I ain't gonna show Baruffolo, but
but Baruffolo, like he a lot of the times during the main. Oh, that was a close one. Yeah, but with Baruffolo, like the thing is, like as soon as he hits a bump, he's very out of shape, you know, and then he has to like collect himself. And I think, you know, it is a conscious choice made by him. You know, he loses in the slow bits, but then when he finds a clean line on the left hand side of the track, and he can use the non-bumpy section of the track, he can like
that's racecraft.
Get that. Yeah, it's. I think like he knows where his strengths are because he took like the sections where he was clearly slower than Fee.
Big bump.
Like he took them more carefully. So
yeah, I would say in the end that's what won Baruffolo this race was racecraft.
100%.
All out racecraft from experience. And I would say in the end that's what hurt Lil Bump was. Now this is when it gets to this point and they get back together, and then Baruffolo. Baruffolo, while he may have still been going fast, he managed the race, like you said, and found his sections where he could go fast, where Bump had to always go fast. And you know, when he did, he made those mistakes. And that's what cost him in the end. If Baruffolo was just more comfortable and just use his racecraft of years, because Baruffolo is what, 24 now, maybe 25 at the most.
Yeah, around there.
So he's been racing for quite a long time. First big win for him. I'm like this, like he does that, and I'm just like, what are you doing, Baruffolo? And that allows Fee to get back up there. I mean, this was a very exciting race, man. I want to say, if you all right, so let's put it this way: you're Marco Baruffolo. You just won SilverState. How do you feel at Tekno right now?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, because I mean, I was picking Mayfield for the win, but I have to say, like, when your teammate wins and you're barely in the fight for a podium, second race in a row, like, I have to say, like, at least in Nitro Buggy, Mayfield is a little bit in the struggle bus right now.
I would say so too. So too. Yes, he won the NC.
Yeah,
yes, he won the NC.
But but even he said, you know, you remember the post-race interview? He said, you know, during the practice days on a big track, you know, it was a little difficult, you know, all that. And then he said, I think he used the word hot rod. He said, oh, the team put together a hot rod, and we managed to take the win on the small track. So I do think he realizes that he has like a little bit of work to do still. And I'm not saying that he's doing bad. He's still.
I say Baruffolo is right there knocking on his door right now after this win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would still keep Mayfield as my number one driver, but I'm just saying, like, Mayfield kind of has to like reinvent himself with Tekno this year again. You know?
Because now it's not
to that form. He, like, in my opinion, because it's not that far ago when he used to be like the guy we could pick to every race and you'd most likely be right. You know, it was 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't long ago. And I would say not only does he have to worry about his other competitors on the track now, but he has Baruffolo, who just got this big win. You know, he's been on the team a little bit longer, been on the team a little bit longer, obviously one of the top European racers in the world. Yeah. And especially top Tekno driver. Ooh, that was so good. These guys had such a good race.
Yeah.
But where does this put Baruffolo on the world's scale right now? I mean, he's one of the few Europeans that now have so there ain't that many Europeans that have big race wins. So two of them have come. So we've had 3 non-American winners of this besides Tasman. We've had Colin McBride from Australia. We've had Boots win this race. We've had now we've had Baruffolo in this race, right? And then you put on top of that, Ronald Fox won DNC a few times. So that's 4 Europe. Wow, that's 3 Europeans that have won big races in Europe. Does this put pressure on Ungaro to come over here and start doing well in America as well? We had this talk yesterday with somebody, and I'm like, you know, he's the world champ. He does what he says. But his fellow Italian just came over and won a race, a big race, you know?
Yeah,
so,
but it's kind of like hard to say that, oh, he has to go to America to prove himself. He has nothing to prove. He won 2 world champions back, you know? Like, the thing is, like, he doesn't need to prove anything. He's easily the number one. And it's not like he was fighting for second at the Worlds in 2016, you know? He was barely a professional driver. I don't think he even was considered a professional driver.
I agree. But at some point, Ungaro is going to have to come over to the USA and perform. At some point, it's going to have to happen.
I do agree. I think it would be, well, let's put it this way. I don't think it would, you know, put him in a bad light if he didn't, in my eyes at least. Mm-hmm. But I do think it would be a shame to never see him, you know, like kind of just to give up on America.
Yes, I would agree there.
He went to DNC 3 years in a row, qualified second, finished on the podium, then really tough 2 years at DNC, and then just, I mean, maybe it's a World's year for 10 scale. He doesn't want to focus that much on 8 scale, just wants to do good on 10 scale. Whatever it is, but I don't know. If he doesn't go to any big races in America next year, I mean, it definitely is a shame.
I would agree. All right. Well, being as we're on that, let's talk about Lil Bump. What does this do to him? What you wake up today and you are, I mean, like Lil Bump was very close to winning this race, as we see he's in the lead now. Last year he won E-Truck at this, and I said last year, I remember saying he needs to run more Nitro. He has been doing well in Nitro. He's been making mains. He qualified well in this race. He finished the second. He leads this race. You have Mason Fuller coming in third, all the way from 16th. There's some shakeups at HB, I would say, this morning. There's definitely some shakeups. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I still have Fuller as my number one HP driver.
Yeah, the one good thing for HP at this moment is that like Fee is so young that you really cannot like ask him to be a professional, you know, because he has
I put
to go
no
to
pressure
school.
on Fee. Like everybody's like, oh, he's gonna win. No, he does not.
No,
he does not have to win the next big race. He doesn't have to win a Worlds by next year. He has time. Oh, this really makes a mistake.
Like, if we look at it from Fee's side, basically it's like we were all expecting you to become a legend of like in the American scene, like one of the big ones in America, and now you're 12 and you are the fastest guy at one of the most prestigious races in America. You know, so it's kind of like I don't think he has to prove anything. Like it's just like we just wait until he gets a little more age. Like that's all we have to do. Like if we look at it strictly from his standpoint. But the one standpoint I wanted to point out was that, you know, HP can't be like, hey, you know, we'll offer you a pro spot, you know, and you're gonna run full time now. You know, because like he's still going to school. He can't like just get.
He'll probably go homeschool. He go homeschool.
He can go homeschool, but it's like it's not the same as, you know, hiring a Mayfield. You know, even though he might make the same results, it's still different. Like offering a 12-year-old kid
I will say, for instance,
5K salary a month. You know, that's not something you can really do.
Well, probably for his dad to stop working and help him out would probably be what he have to do.
Oh,
but I will say this, for sure. I will say this, just in lieu of that. So last weekend we was at the North Georgia shootout, right? And Fee was fast, but then he had issues, like didn't have his car together, and then had something wrong, had his diffs in backwards in his e-car. So his finishing results were not that good. So that's what I'm saying. There's no pressure for me to put on Fee right now. It's all about let this young man naturally develop. Like he naturally came out here and just had a very, you know, his car is really good. He just battled. He was like, so he would say, well, what happened to Fenn? Well, he was battling with Fenn before Fenn got in his thing, right? So he had the speed, he had the pace, but this young man,
he was objectively the fastest guy in the main. If you look at the lap times, he was objectively the fastest guy in the main. So there's
he's leading Baruffolo. Well, he was leading Baruffolo up into that, and so I think that
the hard question is kind of like we already said that with Fee stocks going as high as they went after this, as they're gonna go after this race, it's like I'd consider Ogden like the third best HP driver at the moment. Like, I don't expect Fee to beat Ogden consistently. But considering his age and his potential, I'd say Ogden is the third most valuable driver at HP right now. And in some scenarios, maybe Caden even goes in front of him. Maybe at the end of this year.
Maybe,
you know. But so like the hard in my mind, like the hard situation is like, what do? You have all these talented young kids, but it's kind of like hard to like make them be pro, you know, and do kind of the things that are generally required of a pro driver. But then again, like, why would you want to keep Ogden if these other drivers are giving so good results? I think like it's a positive issue. Like it's a positive issue to have two strong drivers. But which like, because there are going to be people trying to get Fee to switch for sure. It's like, even HP took him away from AE.
If I'm Mayako, I'm going after Lil Bump next year. You know?
Yeah, but I mean,
Lil Bump or Mason Fuller. The Fuller is a Lil Bump. So it's gonna be hard to get them. I don't think it's gonna be as hard to get them away from HB as you think. We talk about Cole. Cole still brings value. Like I went to this race last week. Yeah. He won. He's embraced his character. I don't think the wrongest thing we can do is put a whole bunch of expectations on Lil Bump right now. Let this, the expectations should be on Fuller because he's of age. I think now 17, 18. He has to. So here's my thing with Fuller. I just think like had he been started top 3 at this race, he would have won this race because he was also very fast. But when you start from the 16th position and come up, have to fight your way up to where he is, and then he gets in this vicious battle with Lutz, Rivkin, and Fenn, you know, and he's doing that for mid pack, while these guys just pull away. I think had he had a better start, it would have been a different story for Fuller. But it's also coming on to the point where I think we need to see Fuller. So all right. So Fuller did kind of have one of these races where he steps up and he kind of should have win. I think P&B was it, but like not as dominating as Fenn was. No, sorry, not as dominating as Fee was at this race this weekend.
Yeah, and I think
would say,
you know, for Fuller, like has he yet TQ'd a race?
You know what? We should probably have these notes, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't like the thing. I'm like,
this is where Fee makes the big mistake. Smart move where he doesn't go crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, the point I was thinking was, you know, Mason is really strong in the mains. There has like every time he does well, it's in the mains. You know, we remember like good drives, but I think for Mason, it's kind of finding that speed like every time he goes out on track. You know, like in some ways a similar issue to Ogden, but with Ogden it's the issue that he rarely finds it in mains, whereas Mason almost like always finds it in the mains. But I think for Mason it's just the next step would be to have the like just click onto the track and have the speed for the first qualifier on, just like Fenn. You know, Fenn TQ'd every single class. Yeah, Fenn always struggles in the mains, as has been the story of the last 2 years. You know, how many races has he TQ'd and not won in the past 2-3 years? Fuller is kind of the opposite, but I think if he had better qualifiers, he would have the confidence going into the main, and he would like actually be fighting for the win from the get-go. You know, because he like in the interview he said he's really happy with third, but realistically his speed was good enough to win. You know. So that's, I think the next step is just finding the speed early on and being able to repeat it. And that's when he will get to that Fenn level, or, well, at the moment, I think Fenn is the only one who has that in America. Like, there's lots of fast guys at individual races.
I'm going to be honest with you. The next race at the Nationals, I'm picking Fenn.
Where is the Nationals? Chico?
It's in Chico.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
I hope to be
like,
going to it.
That's again a track which really doesn't favor Fenn.
I just look, even though he didn't have the best weekend this weekend with the flame outs.
Oh wait, do they prep the track in Chico, or do they run it like they have run it at usually?
I don't know what they're going to do.
These days they run it quite untreated. They just water, natural. If it's like that, I think Rivkin is going to be really strong. I
wouldn't argue against that either right now. He's probably so it's not look, and this is no disrespect. Look, Fee, amazing job. Love what I wish he would have won too. You know, I was happy that Baruffolo won, but Fee, I wouldn't have been upset if Fee would have won. I would have been upset if Fuller won. Fee would have been great. This young man has an amazing talent. I think back to when I met him at Southern Nationals, and his dad introduced me to him, and you know, I've gotten to know them over the years. So I just want to say, and also like, you know, they have a great story. So it's really cool to see that. And the amount of work that they put in, that is, you know, that they do is amazing. And to get these results, 12 years old, keep on doing it, man. I just don't want any expectations on this young man right now. I want him to go out there and enjoy RC. We do that too much. We get these young guys, we put so much pressure on them. Let this young man, this eat. Well, he's a little boy. He's 12 years old. He's not a teen year, you know.
And it's like,
let this little boy
not even like in the last year.
Grow.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, he made his first big A main in Nitro Buggy in like the past 3-4 months, you know. So it's like it's I think kind of the really like. I mean, I don't think it's a fluke this performance of this race, but it's like this is gonna put his expectations way higher than his current like natural level is. Obviously, he has the potential to win big races, like he showed, but I think I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make the A the next race he goes to Nitro Buggy. And
I wouldn't be surprised
fine.
either. I mean, I don't think that's going to not happen. I think, but the next big race he goes to will probably be the Nationals. So that's going to be even a harder race.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because it's very different running a semi versus running qualifiers, you know, or running a main, because he got out front. He feels like, oh, I can fight with the best one. So you got a lot of confidence and you trust your speed and you can go fast. But in a semi, you just kind of, you can't take any risk because there's a train of cars, and it's a lot more strategic, you know, in a semi. So
I agree.
All those things that are going to make it more difficult for him, or maybe he just drives fast and like finishing a podium at the Nats. Who knows? But yeah, I think there's no point in like putting any stress on it.
I agree. Here's another fact. Hot Race beats J Concepts for the first time, I would say, in a very long time. Since Ty Tasman beat him at PNB, I would say. Beats him in a major national race in America. So Hot Race is starting to cement that, hey, we are coming here. We are looking to do well here in America as well.
Yeah, you are right. There hasn't been a win because Mayfield has won on the DNCs. Testman hasn't won any races.
He won PNB last year.
PNB 20. No, it wasn't last year, was it?
Oh, it wasn't?
It was the
2021?
year before.
Oh, yeah, it was.
2021. So there has definitely there has been. I mean, obviously, like smaller races, but
yes. But this is our first big American race in 2 years. Because it's been pretty much JC dominated for the last 2 years. Because
everyone like Fuller hasn't won a big race, but even all the guys in the podium usually, like Fuller,
all JC,
Bend, Rivkin, Mayfield, all those guys from JC. So,
yep. So it's been JC dominated. So congratulations to Nicola. I know he's super happy about that, as well as Hot Race, because they are a new sponsor of the podcast, bringing you the Hot Race Hot Lap segment, which we will do later on today, Max. We're going to go on and have a look and give some congratulations to some of the intermediate sportsmen and other drivers that were there, as well as Greg Degani sporting a new shirt to be seen at DNC at SilverState. But with that said, we'd like to thank Beach RC for all their continued support. David Olson, who won Nitro Intermediate Nitro Buggy, is a young man on watch and a Beach RC driver and a new S-Works driver, as well as team manager over there on the East Coast. Thank you to Beach RC for their continued support. We have an affiliate link. If you can, use it, please. It helps us out.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Thank you to Beach RC for the continued support. Max, I see the girlfriend giving you the evil eye. Don't worry, we don't have much time left. Maybe 15 minutes. But we talk about the pros. We have to show the people that make this really happen, because they go out there and they take time off work and they go out and support these races. And without these people, the racers, we cannot have the pro racing. Someone who caught my eye was definitely David Olson going out there, winning this race, running out of fuel on his victory lap. Congratulations, David Olson, coming out of Moncks Corner, Charleston area, South Carolina. It's good to watch this young man's progression. He went to SilverState last year. He recently made the switch to S-Works, and I believe he's somewhat of a manager as well. So he's doing that. Jimmy Fishback, just like his name. So congratulations to him, a second young guy. Joshua Vigil, do not know him. Jaden 2, doing very well. Shout out to Ivan Moreno Jr., who I believe won Truggy. I see he done well. The Carter brothers always out there doing well. It's always good to see them doing well. Some of the sportsman people, so Joey had a 50 plus there as well. Mike Batali won this. So Mike, here's a quick story about Mike Batali. He used to be a champion Revo driver back in the day. Him, Bobby Moore, and Steve Sladen were Team Revo back when Traxxas used to have a team. But in the 50 plus class, he wins that. Let's see who else. Sorry, did I lose this? Donnie Vilkemoda takes second, and our good friend, your dad, Bartholomew Baker, comes third. So there's your dad coming third, Max.
Actually, by the way, because there was a lot of TLRs in the main, right? There was Fend, Sontag, and
Tollard.
Tollard.
Very good. Very good for them.
Yeah. No X-rays in the main. No Mayakos, unfortunately.
No.
Which else? There was Bornhurst and Lime were S-Works. A lot of HBs for... Oh, yeah, Rose too. So a good showing for them. 4 HBs in the main.
A lot of Technos too. 3 Technos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. Richard Saxton takes 40 plus Nitro bucks. Zero Mugans, by the way. Zero Mugans. Richard Saxton takes your win in 40 plus, followed by Greg Degani, Brent Thelke, Justin Watson, Drew Spurgeon. By the way, Greg also ran 40 plus Nitro Truck, Sportsman Nitro Buggy win. We saw Devin DeCastro win, Trevor Allens, Chase Antel, Nicholas Leduc, and Dylan Hyde are your top 5. So let's go to. I'm not going to go through all the electric truck mains. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of them. Let's see. I want to talk about 40 plus Nitro truck, which Degani ran, right? So he. Sorry, no, that's intermediate Nitro truck. Shout out to the intermediate. Just trying to shout out to everybody that done pretty well. So Greg Degani, he had to run. He ran 40 plus Nitro truck, and he runs a Techno truck. So he had to wear something that, that he always teases me. I'm surprised that kudos to Techno for getting a 6X. I don't know where they got it from, but they found a shirt big enough to fit Greg Degani. He always teases me about my shirts. Says that my shirts are too big, even though he wears one size bigger than me. But they got him. They made him wear a Techno shirt, and I thought it was epic. He sent me the picture, and he goes, "If I win, I get $200 or something like that." So he does it all for the money. And we have Greg Degani there, sporting a Techno shirt that looks kind of tight. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe that's as high as the scale on the shirts go.
I know. I don't know if it's a 5X.
But think of like the branding space. Like that must be the biggest Techno logo at the track.
He would tease me about this. Wearing a Mayako hat, by the way. We have Greg.
Yeah, look how small that logo on the hat looks compared to that T-shirt. Like imagine, like Fee wearing an HB shirt, like probably half the size of that Techno logo.
Wow, I mean, if he wore this shirt, he would not exist. It would just be
I bet that shirt is longer than Fee.
I bet it's longer than Fee too.
Yeah.
I bet he always says I wear like tents. Well, this is definitely tent size right here. But congratulations to everybody that won their respective mains. We can't go through all the winners and losers of this, but it seemed to be a great race. I thoroughly enjoyed the coverage online. That was what I got to see. Like I said, I wasn't there, so I don't know everything that happened. It was a good race. It had some great racing. We had great racing in all the Pro A mains. We had great racing in the B mains. We had some controversy. We have X-Ray team orders. We have all this cool stuff going on. And I thoroughly
X-Ray team orders.
Did you not hear that? You must be lagging so much right now.
No, I was kind of like I was waiting for you to give yourself up, and then you just had a smirk. So I couldn't hold it back anymore. I tried to let it slide, but I couldn't.
Here you go, Testament. Earn your stripes. Take on a Killick. Max, you know what we're gonna do? I have a rant planned. Should we do the rant? But this is a thoughtful rant. I want to do hot laps real quick. Hot laps real quick. Max, Lil Bump.
Unbelievable.
Marco Baruffolo.
Maybe it's his time now.
SilverState.
Well, it's gonna sound harsher than it is, but shadow of its former self.
Really?
Yeah, I remember those SilverStates where the track was like,
rough.
It was dry, it was rough. It's almost like you're racing in the desert.
You were
50 degrees.
racing in the desert.
Yeah, it was 50 degrees Celsius.
You mean outdoor SilverState? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't even mean like what you call it, the tracks of Las Vegas. I mean like Boulder, like when McBride won it.
You mean when the whole back straight area was just sand?
Yeah,
I remember my first time ever against. Okay, yeah, I would agree there. Dakota Fend.
Proving me right.
Jared Tebow.
I'd say finding his feet at the moment.
Oh, okay. Ty Tessman.
Tyrone
Tessman.
Fading away. Yeah, harsh. I know, harsh. But to be honest, like, you remember a guy who won Raw Nationals, 3 in a row or something like that. DNC, swept classes, won the Worlds, finished 3rd at the next Worlds, then switched chassis, and he got a Raw Nationals and a Vice Championship at the Worlds. But since then,
Tekno RC.
I don't know.
They have won 2 of the major races this year.
Yeah, they have. I don't know. There must be a word for it. It's not an underdog, but it's kind of like making it happen. Okay. They're making it happen.
One more, and then I'm gonna let you go, and then you could try.
Dude, you have so many. How the fuck do you come up with this?
Because we just had a great race.
Yeah.
Hot Race versus JC.
It's 35-1.
Okay.
In big race wins,
Okay. But they're common.
But I mean, yeah. But yeah, I think probably. Okay. I kind of need to figure some out for you.
Make it fast.
Indoor racing, Wojtka.
So much better when you have open sides.
Yeah, I agree. You need sun. 8 scale needs sun, or wind.
Yeah, better with those type of tracks that I went to at North Georgia Shootout.
I don't know. Did I ask you eat truggy last week?
Probably, but my answer is not the same. Is the same.
Yeah.
The future.
Such a future. Oh my god.
Come on, Max. You're not asking me the hard questions.
Yeah, I need to give you a good one. I have lots of like weak ones, but I need to find a good one. Duke in America.
Oof. Either 2 things: pump money into FCJ or hire somebody.
Yeah, well, that too. I need to get at least one more.
One more.
I'm bad at this, dude.
All right, that's it. You're done. You know what? We're going into we have for the second week in a row, we have a JQ racing rant because this is about, getting things,
This is actually good. When it's JQ racing brand, a brand that doesn't exist anymore, it's it's going to be a good rant. Yeah.
There we go.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on.
Whoa. Things are about to get serious.
It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
All right, and we are back for a JQ Racing Rant. And this rant is all about IFMAR and the interim president, that is Jeff Parker. Before I go on any further, I would like to play a clip from a recent episode that I done this year with the new reigning Raw president, Clayton Young. Do forgive the quality of the clip. I did download this off Instagram.
I don't think it's called raining. I think it's called sitting.
What are you talking about? Sitting, raining. I don't know.
I think it's a rating champ.
So it's kind of unexpected to be upside down coming in. Because I was in the committee before and there was still a significant chunk of change in the bank, but when I took over, there wasn't anymore.
Was you surprised by that?
I was I was definitely surprised. I didn't expect to owe more than we had. So
what was did they give any like reasons for it, like that was acceptable?
Acceptable. They gave what they could best figure out, which was the racing was costing $30,000 more a year than they were bringing in for racing. Which prompted the prompt firing of Jeff Parker from RMT, because everything for the racing was running through Jeff Parker Services. So to try and figure out what's going on there, you kind of have to you'd have to start fresh and figure it out.
You did say. Alrighty, so I forget which episode that was, but it was a couple of weeks, I think early on this year, not too long ago. So here we have Clayton Young telling us that Jeff Parker has now been fired from Raw and not affiliated with Raw, basically because when they took over, Raw was $20,000 in the hole. They also have repeatedly tried to contact Jeff Parker to get back equipment that belongs to Raw, and he has repeatedly not answered any of their emails. So Max and our think tank, which includes BJ, went and done some research about this because, Jeff Parker is the interim president of IFMAR at the moment. IFMAR is the ultimate and overall world federation that has many names. It's, obviously maybe IFMAR and the No Name RC podcast don't have the best relationship after they shut down our Lefty for IFMAR president campaign a few years ago. But I still am a firm believer in IFMAR. We need it. I love the Worlds. I got to be a part of it last year and whatnot. So basically, we wanted to find out what the status of Jeff Parker is, as he's now no longer a part of Raw or any federation. How is it that he is still the interim president of IFMAR? By the way, he took over this after Dallas passed away, and this is what happens. I believe he basically just got grandfathered into this. So I'm not saying that he actually wanted this, but this is what happened. So the rules state as this. Let me find them. I just had them. Do you have them right there, Max? So the rules states. Maybe you can read it out as you read it a little better. So coming from Clayton Young, he says, according to their constitution, he must be a part of an IFMAR block. I've emailed IFMAR about his removal from Raw, as well as sent the following email saying, we will not reimburse any expenses incurred by Jeff Parker. So who knows? Maybe he has some expenses incurred with IFMAR that Raw might have to pay. So basically how it says in the rule book 16.1 appointment, the directors are appointed by the general meeting for a period of 4 years and can be reelected. The members of the board must represent the active members of IFMAR. Each active member appoints his candidate and representative separately to the board. Proposals for such positions must be submitted to the secretary at least 40 days before the General Assembly in case of vacancy during a mandate. A temporary administrator may be appointed by the board of directors. In this case, he completes the mandate of the director and replaces until the next general meeting. Directors can be dismissed by General Assembly with this is 16.2. They can be dismissed by General Assembly with a 2/3 majority or active members. Each member of the board of directors may resign after a written notification to the board of directors. A director must continue to execute his mandate after he has submitted his resignation until he can be reasonably be replaced. He is not affiliated with ROAR. He does not represent an active member of IFMAR. Therefore, Jeff Parker cannot hold the office of president at this moment, but he still does.
Yeah. So basically, right now, what is needed is that the people who are in the board of IFMAR is to vote him out, because he is, according to the rules, he is not fit to be the president because of his position. It doesn't credit it, and that means that there has to be another person submitted as director of IFMAR. And I think this is thoroughly needed, because IFMAR is, I have to say it out loud, that it's at the form it is right now, it's a joke of an organization, really. There really isn't anything that they are doing well. The only thing that they have is the title of being the official world championship of RC racing, but their website just looks ridiculous. There is barely any news of anything. World Cup of 1/8 e-buggy was released very late. Only like official things they do is like post, the battery lists and things like this, but in reality that goes through the federations first, so they don't even do the work there. They just publish something as
why I'm saying this is because it's now May of 2023, and we're supposed to be having a Worlds next year, September of 2023. So now we have about a year and a half left before the next Worlds. And from what my sources tell me, it's going to be in Brazil, but there's no official ruling. You would think that we would want to get an official ruling on this, right? And the nationals are coming up here that qualify for this for America, which is about 30 spots, I would say. That's coming up in less than a month, right? So we still don't know where this race is going to be. The world's biggest, most important RC race. We don't know where it's going to be. Nobody has any rules. People can't even, maybe they can't start planning because they haven't done the nationals, but at least we should know where it's going to be. And on
top of all that, just like not knowing the location, is that it's not only about not knowing the location, it's about actually IFMAR doing the work to confirm that the host is fit to actually execute the world championships and to a standard that is needed. And if you don't know who is going to host the Worlds a year in advance, how do you know that they are able to even host an international event? And because I don't think there is any big.
Well, there'll probably be a warm-up
venues.
But
the thing is, it's hard to change the venue after they have.
Well, the venue, I know that the venue, because look, no Worlds is cheap, right? I saw how much money that the Boulders put into the Redavon Worlds. The facility is just there, but all the other stuff they did, like they had Conexes and tents and all that stuff bought in. So I know for a fact that the people that are proposed to hold this race are ready to invest the money needed to make the facility what it is, right? They have this space. They have to make the track a little bigger. They have to do things like that. They have everything they need to do. They just need to get the okay from the Worlds to let them know so they can invest the money. They're looking at spending $40,000 to $50,000 on this themselves, right? That's what I'm been told. I just wish they would hurry up and make some decisions here so both parties can get along with it. The track can get along with it. If it's not going to be in Brazil, where is it going to be? Is it going to be in America like it's supposed to be with the dates? But because of COVID, we have to go back to a thing. Okay, let's just figure out where it's going to be so people can start planning. This is a big event. That track now has a year and a half. So they just need to get off their hands, stop sitting on their hands, and let's get some decisions made. But then again, I see who the president is, and I understand why we can't get decisions made. The same man who talked about Radio Impound at the last nationals I attended. So, look, IFMAR, you need to really check your rules. You have a person that's the interim president who is, by your rules, not allowed to be a president. He's also not allowed to be a part of the Raw Bloc, which is trying to get back on their feet. He actually owes money to them, apparently, and doesn't want to answer their questions, answer emails. So what type of IFMAR president is that? And here we are. We have the biggest 8-scale race in the world every 2 years, and we're a year and a half out from when it's supposed to happen, and we don't have any location. We don't have any information. Nobody knows what's going on. I think it's time people got some answers. And if you want some answers, I don't even know who you can send it to complain, because it ain't no real communication going on with IFMAR. So I don't know. Bombard the Facebook page, whatever. I don't know. We need some answers here. We need some answers. That's all I'm going to say. And that's what the JQ Racing Rant is about this week.
Yeah, and it's actually a serious issue. It's about, the future of RCS sports.
Yes.
IFMAR is very much responsible for that. And that's one of the main reasons why there is such a organization as IFMAR. And I think just we have spent a lot of time in RC to make things better, all of the people who are in RC. But if the federations just don't do anything, it's never gonna get better in the long term, because there's not anything written down, nothing put into the system where the change happens. It's on the hands of the people who actually make those races or organize those races. So if IFMAR works as it works now, it's useless, and it actually makes RC racing worse. Not it doesn't keep it the same; it makes it worse.
I would agree. All righty. I think that's it for us. I think we had a nice geek out on the SilverState race. If you guys enjoyed this, let us know. Like I said, we geeked out on this just on the coverage. We were not there. We just geeked out on the race and what we can see. Obviously, we might not have got everything correct, but if you was there, let us know that we might have missed on something. I didn't hear too much, over the weekend. I enjoyed the coverage. Thank you to BJ for his notes. Thank you to Max for helping us out with the notes. I want to shout out and say thank you to High Tech as well. Max is now running their service, but High Tech also is going 50 this year. Founded in 1973, High Tech RCD began as an exporter of light emitting diodes with a mission to bring bargaining technology to a worldwide audience. The founders quickly recognized the fast pace of the radio controlled industry and growth there, and then set their sights on researching radio and servo technologies. Here they are 50 years later, still as one of the highest and most quality group of servo makers in the industry. You can now check out all their new servo lines as well as their charger lines. We have links for that in the written description of the podcast. And thank you, High Tech RC, for their continued support. Max, I want to thank you for your time. It was great recording. We kind of wasn't planning on this, but we did. I'm off to Portugal. We probably will be doing some live shows from Portugal as well. JQ and everybody, we're going to test out some gear here that I have. Thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do this without you guys. Keep on liking, hitting that sub button, hitting that like button, notification button on YouTube. If you're listening to this on the audio application, please leave a review. Also, if you can, please share this. I know we have some groups out there. If you have a group out there, share what we're saying. We want to grow this as well. And thank you. Thank you to the patrons of the NNRC. You'll get early releases of this, as well as the YouTube members. We greatly appreciate it. Please follow everything that I'm going to be doing over in Portugal. I think I'm going to be the only real media over there, so everything will be coming through me. There might be some other guys there, and I'll be working with the Portuguese Federation doing the coverage. Chris? No, because there's a French nationals on that weekend. Okay. So he will be there. From what I'm told, I think Yao will be taking pictures. Yao Soares, he's a good photographer apparently. I look forward to that. The nationals are coming up. We got Lone Star coming up. That's 2 big races as well. We got World's warm up coming up already. Booked Mexico's favorite 10 scale racer for that. He'll be there. So we're going to do a full recap on that. I'm not sure if I'm going to the nationals yet. I'm still waiting to hear if I'm going or not. But as of now, I'm not. But and which is, I hope I am, but it's not far away. So maybe we'll see what happens with that. And there are some talks that I will be going to some races in the summer, Wicked Weekend being one of them. We'll see how that works out. Thank you to all the sponsors of the podcast. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sunpadal USA, Sidewinder Fuel. Congratulations, Sidewinder. Little Bump came second. He's running Sidewinder, by the way. Tekno RC, Hot Race Tire. Shout out to Nicola. Everybody's happy. Don't forget Bobby to bring me a nice Hot Race hat in Portugal so I can wear. No, I don't get this one all dirty and sweaty. Shout out to Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, Racecraft USA. Shout out to Carl RC, my good friend who's helping me out here. WRCE, doing some great work there. Dany Paz. House of RC. Shout out to our drivers, David Runnefelt, Jared Tebow, Robert Batty, and Alexander Hagberg. Shout out to all you guys. We can't do it without you. Max, one of the rare podcasters that we have you at the end with your camera on. Yeah. So I would like to say, Nitro is the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding your sliding, and hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Congratulations to Tekno RC, Marco Baruffolo, Lil Bump, Ryan Mayfield, Dakota Fan, all the guys there, David Olsen, all these guys who won intermediate and got their respective podiums in the lower classes of SilverState. We look forward to the next race. Max and Lefty were out. Max giving the salute. Quite less arrogant as I thought you would be this weekend, Max.
Yeah, I kind of thought, like, I don't want to be knowingly arrogant because people deep down in their head know that a European came to America and swept the rug with all the Americans.
He did do that. He did do that. And Marco Baruffolo, the hero we didn't expect, but the hero we deserve. He deserves a Batman signal, in my opinion. M3. Well done, M3. Party in, I think he's going to IBC. Party in Italy. Now it's Angaro's got to come up. Angaro's got to come up. Apply the pressure. Lefty, Max, we're out. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We will talk to you next week.